To access the Key Data Systems question bank within Schoology, I'm going to click on AMP and then Assessment Teams. Once I'm in my assessment team, I'm going to click on my subject area and then my grade level folder, add resources, and add managed assessment. From here, I'm going to give my assessment a title. And any instructions my students might need. From here, I'm going to click on the plus and then Inspect Item Bank. Search for your standard. Once you have your questions displayed, and remember you can click next on the right to see more questions that correspond to that standard. Click on a question to see if it's something that you want to use. So I like this question, I'm going to use it. I'm going to click Add to Assessment. From here, I can start a new search if I want to look at a new standard, or I can go back to results to see more questions that correspond to that specific standard. So I might want to look for a question that is not multiple choice. So maybe I'll try this one. So I'm going to look at this question, and remember in Chrome you can zoom out if you can't see all of the question, and it won't look like this to your students when you actually give them the assessment. So I like this question. I'm going to add that to my assessment. And you'll continue this process until you have all of the questions you want. You also have the option just to check the boxes here and add them that way. So if you know what specific questions you want, you can do that. Again, I'm just going to click on a question, see if that's a question that I want to add to my assessment, and click Add to Assessment. Once I have all of the questions that I want on my assessment, I'm going to exit out of that search bank. And now I'm back to my assessment, and I see those 3 questions. From here, I can drag and drop the questions in any order that I want. I can make sure that I have the questions that I like, and I can assign those questions points. The important thing to know about AMP is that everything that you're doing in your assessment can only take place here in this location, in AMP. Once you push this assessment out to your course, there's no editing that assessment from your course. All of the editing for this assessment has to take place in AMP, and once you finalize this assessment, you can't go back and edit it. The only way that you can edit this assessment is to create a new version, but you won't ever be able to get rid of this version once you finalize it. So I'm happy with these questions. This is what I want to be on my assessment. I'm happy with these point values, but again, you can go in and change that to whatever point value you want. Click on the settings, and these are all of your standard settings that you would have in your course level assessment. They have to be set here in AMP. So do you want to give your students a limit of how many times they can take it? Do you want them to be able to see their assessment submission? So all of those typical settings in the course level are found here too. Over here you have your calculator, your text-to-speech, all of those other options. You have to make some sort of change in these settings for this blue confirm button to pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm I like those questions. And I'm going to turn on this instructor preview. That just lets me preview it from my course level as well. So I'm going to click confirm. So I like my settings. The final step in the actual creation of the assessment and the final thing you want to do once you make sure everything's the way you like it is to click this yellow draft button and turn the test to active. So now that my assessment is active, I'm done creating it. I'm going to now push that out to my assessment or to my course. So I'm going to navigate back to my folder. And now you can see here's my expressions test. I'm going to click that gear icon next to it, and I'm going to click Add to Sections. This is where I will actually add it to my Schoology course. And and I'm going to search my name. So this would be ideal if you're building this with your collaborative team. You all can build it in one location, and then you can push it out to multiple teachers' classes in one place. Oh, first name. So I'm just searching my name. And it's going to pull up all of the courses that I teach. So I'm going to add that to just this course. But you can select multiple courses. And I'm going to click Add to Sections. So now you see that green bar across the top. It's been added to a section, and you can now see that expressions test. It says it's associated with one section. So that means I have successfully added it to that course. So the next step is to actually navigate to the course that I sent it to. So I'm going to go up to this other tab where I have that course. Go home. So now I'm in that course where I pushed that assessment out to. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom, and you can see there's my expressions test that I just made in AMP. And it pushes it over unpublished so that your students can't see it until you're ready. And now you need to go in and kind of give it the course level setting. So I'm going to click that gear, and I'm going to click Edit. From here, you need to decide if you want there to be a due date for your students. How many points do you want it to be worth? I'm just going to say 5. Enable submissions, all of those things that you would in a standard course level assessment. I'm going to choose a category. And then I want to make sure that I publish that to students. Now when I save that, you can see that it's now published and my students can go ahead and take it. So you can see that it looks very similar. I mean, it looks identical to course level assessments. Your students really won't be able to tell the difference. So now when I click into that, you can tell that this was made in AMP because you've got this little preview, this little page on the beginning that says it was built in AMP. It's a managed assessment. And I can go ahead and preview it. And this is what your assessment is going to look like to your kids. So it looks pretty much identical to a course level assessment. It grades the same, it acts the same. The only difference is where you as the teacher built it.